For tracking online visitors, there's another component here that needs to be configured, and that is around our dynamic number insertion capability. So for dynamic number insertion, to identify where your online visitors are coming from before they pick up the phone and dial a tracking code. It's a single line of JavaScript with this snippet of code in place on your website or on the landing pages where you're routing visitors to. We have the ability to identify where those visitors are coming from. If and only if we detect that the visitor has come from one of these sources that you've configured to track, then that code is going to find and replace what you've defined as the target number. The number that normally appears on your website gets swapped out with our tracking number by the time that page loads for the visitor. So somebody that clicks through from your page from Twitter, instead of this local 410 number, they're going to see this 443 tracking number. Somebody that clicked through to the site from a Google organic search, instead of this 800 number that normally appears on the site, we're going to show them this 410 tracking number. In doing this dynamic number insertion, we are tagging that visitor's browser cookie for a default duration of 30 days, and we're using a first touch attribution model. That means the visitor that comes to the site from a Google organic search today and then clicks through from Twitter tomorrow, we'll be able to recognize them as a repeat visitor, and we're going to show them the same Google organic number that they saw on their first visit. Now, this behavior is customizable. Some companies that have a longer sales cycle may want to extend that cookie duration. We may want to have this Google organic number follow a visitor for 60 or 90 days based on our product's shopping trends. So once we've got these numbers set up and calls start rolling into these tracking numbers, you're going to have call log. This call log is a stacked chronological view of all the calls that have come in to all of your tracking numbers. In this call log, there's a lot of data that we're automatically collecting around every phone call that comes in. This includes the caller ID information, the unique number that our caller called from, as well as the city, state, and region that that number is associated with. We're going to show you which individual number was dialed along with the source that you've associated to that tracking number. We're going to have a recording available. If you have call recordings turned on, you'll be able to access these for as long as you have an active account. Come back in to listen to all of the phone calls. This can be an extremely valuable tool to measure and score the performance of your team that's fielding these inbound leads. Make sure that they're capitalizing on every opportunity to close the sale. We also measure the date, the ring time, talk time, overall duration of every phone call. And what is our perceived status? Do we perceive that this call was answered at the other end, or did we ring through to a no answer scenario? In the call routing column, we'll show you which receiving number or which agent fielded this phone call. In addition to these standard data points that we're providing on every conversation, there's a lot of customization that can be added to this call log. Custom fields around the contact panel or custom score panels for your team to access, whether they're scoring the quality of the leads or the performance of the agents. These can be built out to achieve your specific objectives. Another thing I want to talk about in the call log is the session data. So for those calls that are generated from a number that was served up online through our tracking code, there's some additional parameters that we've been able to pick up here. So every time somebody picks up the phone and dials a number that's been displayed via that dynamic number insertion, there's about 40 different points of session data that we're looking at, including geographically, where's that visitor coming to the site from? What kind of device are they using? What's their IP address? How long did they spend on the site? What pages did they visit where we showed them a tracking number, as well as what other browser cookies were present in their session on our website. So with these 40 different points of session data, there's an algorithm that runs in the background that matches the visitor to their specific phone call. We're confident in this matching within a ratio of 1 tracking number for every 20 daily unique visitors that you get from a specific source. So for example, if you had 100 visitors in a day from your Google Ads, then we would recommend that you had 5 tracking numbers to have a very small margin of error in this session matching. with an accurate session match made, combined with our Google integration, we have the ability to bring in this additional advertising data. So we have now matched this call to the specific campaign, ad group, and keyword terms that led to this visitor picking up the phone and calling.